Uh, well, welcome. Thank you, CEO and founder of Stunio. We're a workforce platform that helps college students find local jobs in their communities, whether it's gigs or internships or contract to hires, all the way to part-time jobs. What we're trying to do is allow students to have more experience and career building opportunities during school while making money to find better full-time offers and jobs once they graduate school. There's been a lot of problems in today's job market with students not being able to find good full-time jobs. They don't have enough connections given that they didn't have the time or resources or the flexibility to meet enough people during school to then lead into better full-time jobs after graduation. And so what we're seeing today is a lot of a rise in student unemployment after college graduation, which is terrible with today with the amount of money that students are paying to actually go to school, and then the fact that you can't find a job. Unfortunately, it just goes without saying how that's causing more and more issues for today's society. And as costs keep rising, we need to find better solutions to this growing problem. So found a really awesome LinkedIn post that talked about this exact problem, the struggles of getting hired after college, trying to go through dozens and dozens of job applications and not finding the right fit and not getting calls back, and businesses requiring so much experience before you even get into the job. And it's like, I'm brand new, just fresh out of graduation. And it was actually from a friend of mine, Justin Besco, who I've known since my high school days at Goodrich High School, who also attended Michigan State University and who's recently graduated and who is struggling in today's market, trying to find the right types of jobs to go for. And so his LinkedIn post caught my attention for all the right reasons, because it was brutally honest about what it's like to graduate college and still feel like you're failing. And so ultimately, Justin, welcome to the new podcast. This is our first episode, and we're super excited to have you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, Adam, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor getting to talk to you again, being able to reconnect after all these years.
Absolutely. I know it's been a couple of years that we did mock trial together too at high school, right?
Not mock trial. We did student council. I think you're part of DECA, right?
I wasn't part of DECA. I could have sworn you the mock trial one time with me and
you know what?
Dennis.
Yes, with Mrs.
Sally
Dickinson. I think there's one. Yeah, there's 1 year I did that. Yeah.
Okay, it's so funny because I was looking back at pictures the other day, and I saw you and Luke and Max Iski and a couple of the other folks, and it was just funny, kind of throwback. But yeah, no, student council, a couple different things like that. And but yeah, anyways, really good to see you, Justin, and we'll have to connect in Clarkson soon.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So take us back. We'll probably drop a link to that post that you made on LinkedIn with this podcast. Kind of walk us through like your thought process around posting that, what you were feeling that day, what sort of responses you were expecting. Did you get the expected response that you were looking for? Kind of unpack that for us, like what led you to write that post?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the past few weeks prior, just looking through a bunch of applications, everything like that. You look for a marketing role. A lot of the entry-level roles are sales. And I already had one bad experience with sales, so I was trying to avoid that in the first place. However, looking at all these applications, you look at the entry-level requirements, there's still all these places that want 2 to 3 years of experience. And, it's demoralizing because it's almost like, how do you get that experience? Where are you going to get that from? So it's almost like, why is it worth even applying for? Because you don't have that experience.
Right.
So it just kind of, just going into that day, it just really, really hit me that morning. Had an interview, it was either the day of or the day before. Thought it went really well. Got almost an immediate call back just saying, hey, we're not continuing with your application. We moved on to someone else. It was supposed to be an entry-level data analyst role with Continental Services. So it's just, it makes you feel defeated. Like you think you've given it your all, and you can't follow through on that. So that was one of the big Another one is the pressure that comes from parents and family. So living with my dad right now, I mean, it's every day constantly. It's what are you doing? Why? How have you not found a job yet? What are you trying to do to better yourself? He gets up super early. He doesn't see that I also get up super early after he's gone. Um, Doing all the things I need to do, working on certifications to better my resume, just doing all that kind of stuff. And then having to go out and DoorDash for 12 hours after that. It's just same process every single day. It's just something where I don't make time for myself either. It's just a constant, you know, you got to make money somehow. You got to treat LinkedIn like a job. That's what everyone says.
Right.
So it's just a lot of build up going into that day that really took a toll on me.
Yeah, and like you touched on the mental part too, because I think you really called that out in your post, like the mental health and pressure. Like you talked about with family expectations. There's a ton of expectations just coming out of college, and even with like, you know, it may be something that not a lot of people utilize as much nowadays, but like career counselors, like, you know, you get emails from like MSU, and you even have to put in, or they expect you to put in, you know, what are you doing? Like, you know, what's your job and what's your pay and all these things, because they want to get like a census of all their students and where they're at. And it seems semi disingenuous because, like we've talked about, a growing number of students are not employed after school, and it probably contributes to that pressure and, you know, the sort of mental health decline that you maybe feel. Yeah, and like you said, like if you're not taking time for yourself, like how are you managing like the mental health side of it, or if you are at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, really, I'm not. I mean, thankfully with DoorDash, it's something where I can also get my mind off of things while you're
Mhm.
still making money. So at least that's a little bit of a getaway. Um, but I just kind of go back to a little pressure with parents. It just feels like if you're just sitting around, just taking time for yourself, they're gonna be like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you on LinkedIn right now? Why aren't you applying for jobs?"
Right.
I mean, that's another thing too, is they think that there's, you know, world's your oyster. All these jobs are out here for your taking. When in reality, there's me and so many other graduates that are just having the same issue of not being able to get those entry level jobs. I think I saw something, I don't remember how long ago, but the average time it takes for a graduate to get a career is at least a year.
Wow.
And you know, I've hit that year mark. Granted, I had an entry level job, but it just wasn't the right fit for me, so I left that job. Um, but there's nothing out there, and it's just it just makes you feel like, you know, why aren't you good enough? What are you know, how can you better yourself? Like why, you know, you look at this as here's where I kind of think LinkedIn's also in a way toxic, because you
Yeah.
see a lot of people sharing their success, which good for them, very happy for them, but at the same time it's beating you down because it's like,
Sure.
why didn't I get that job, or why didn't I get any job? You know what I mean? How are they? What are they doing different that I can't do?
Well, and to be fair, like I felt that way too about LinkedIn. It's like, you know, people put their best and their brightest on LinkedIn, right? And like it's so, it was refreshing in a sense, and that's why we really want to talk about your post. Like it was so brutally honest that a lot of times you just don't see that type of post on LinkedIn, because I think the most times what we do on social media is we put our best side out there, and maybe it's a good thing for any viewers who are listening to understand that, you know, social media is a lot of smoke and mirrors too, that, you know, people say that they have it all together, but maybe many times they don't. But you're right, it definitely, I've heard it from multiple people how it probably stings to, you know, keep seeing other people, you know, quote unquote succeed, or to get that job, or to like really talk themselves up. And then like you said, good for them. But it's not the case for a lot of other people like yourself. And talk through, like, there's a ton of platforms out there, right? There's like LinkedIn, Indeed, Handshake. Handshake is the typical one for college students. That's like the bread and butter one. Um, you know, from your parents' perspective, obviously it's like those platforms exist. There's tons of jobs out there, quote unquote. There's tons of companies. You know, maybe people interpret the existence of these platforms as proof in itself that like those jobs are there, and if you're not getting a job, it's your fault, because the systems are there. Whereas they maybe don't truly understand that a lot of those systems are contributing to the exact problem that you're having. It's not actually solving anything. It's maybe even smoke and mirrors in itself, because it promises, a lot of these job boards promise to, solve your hiring struggles. We're going to use more AI. We're going to get you in there. We're going to send out your application to 100 new places and all these sorts of things. But combined with the new information that we're getting about how the number of students who are unemployed after graduation is increasing, it just seems like a weird paradox, because it's like, how does that data align with the fact that these systems are supposed to be solving it, but there's actually a rise in unemployment after school, and we're having more and more stories like yours come out where people are doing everything right. And like you talked about, you did everything right, but you're not getting success, and the businesses aren't responding, or the platforms aren't doing what they're saying they're going to do. So take me through that. Like, as you kind of briefly mentioned to us offline before this about Handshake and some of the other job boards that you've used, like, what's the experience been like there, and where do you kind of like see that it's not helped you find that job?
Yeah, so we were saying about AI earlier. I think a lot of these systems are putting AI into place, a lot of these companies. And quite frankly, I don't think it's working. A lot of these AI ATS screenings, they look for specific things in a resume. And if it's not there, it's just shot. It's gone.
You're gone.
You're gone. Yeah. So it's something where I wish it would go back to where recruiters were actually taking the time to look through resumes and seeing what experience people actually have. That way they can get a better gauge of whether or not this person might be a good fit, rather than relying on technology. But yeah, I mean, looking at all the other job boards and everything, in a sense, they're all pretty much the same. I mean, you look up entry-level marketing in LinkedIn, Handshake, Glassdoor, Indeed. You look through all those, and they pop up with almost the same results. And it's just a constant cycle, just going through all these different job boards, just trying to find something that's actually there that you can actually have an opportunity to apply for. Because a lot of these places too, they just have applications out there that they're not even looking for applicants. It's just on a cycle of just being refresh, instead of them taking it off the job board. So, I mean, that's another big issue too, is there's a lot of these companies that don't get rid of those applications that are on these job boards. And it's just kind of, you're throwing your resume out into an abyss. It's not going anywhere because no one's checking them.
Wow. Yeah, that's the biggest issue. That you're right. There's no upkeep on a lot of the platforms, and a lot of them are scraping data. And for viewers who don't understand what that is, but like there's different technology available, especially with new AI that comes out to kind of read the internet and to find different postings that are out there, and whether it's old or new or recent or even updated, it's going to pull that data into that system and say, hey, here's job opportunity. And like you said, Justin, it's like maybe those roles aren't actually real, or they're not actually hiring for them. I pull up a picture, and hopefully we can show it on the screen here. I keep screenshotting every time I find on Instagram or LinkedIn. I keep getting these these paid ads from these new companies that the algorithm's learning at what I'm looking at now, and it's sending me all these ads to these new companies that are boasting about using AI to replace exactly what you talked about, which is the actual human interaction of looking at resumes, as some sort of bad thing. Like it calls out, like, you're spending way too much time looking at resumes. We're going to use this new AI system to literally filter out, types of people based on keywords. Or in this case, for a student, it's Wobo applies to jobs while you sleep, literally. And it's like, is sending your application out to 1,000 more places, via AI, is that better? Is that what's going to actually land you a job? Like, from the business side, that doesn't help them either, because they're getting then just tons of junk, resumes and applications. It's not like AI on either side is really solving the problem. But like you said, it's like these platforms are kind of boasting that we have a new AI system and we can do more stuff for you. I don't know. Obviously, you haven't found that to be useful, unless you may have already found that perfect job if AI was really working in the way they were saying it would.
Yeah, and I mean, when you say throwing out applications to 1,000 companies, that's really not the ideal way to go, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's good to get your name out there, and it's good to get those resumes out there. But at the same time, if there's companies that are going to be reaching out to you, you're going to be so overwhelmed and flooded with all these jobs that are coming back to you for opportunities that you might not even want because AI is just sending them out.
Yeah, I
So
would get them on. I would get them on Handshake too. With in the messages section, it'd start sending me these automated messages from these recruiters or different companies, and in some cases they put it's like stock language, and it says hello, insert name. It's like they didn't even take the time to make sure that their system worked to put in my actual name.
right,
It's like they're just sending that to how many hundreds of thousands of students and people across the country, and just trying to find like one person. It's like it's a waste. And like you said, like your time is precious and you're trying to earn money still, and at the same time you're trying to like read through all this stuff, and you're just getting maybe bombarded with non-relevant things, and vice versa for a lot of companies. They're getting bombarded with non-relevant people, and so people like you who are actually good candidates are filtered out and maybe not seen for how actually you do work or how you could work for that company. So there's just so many issues with the process right now.
oh, absolutely. I mean, I wish there was something out there where it can just change in an instant, just like that, where these opportunities will come out. But it's just, I mean, with technology advancing, it's just it doesn't. It just seems like it's going downhill.
Yeah, and I
Not
think it's like, yeah, not progressing. Well, it's like it's cheaper. They're saying it's cheaper now with AI to do all of this, but it's like, it's cheaper, better, like to send out your application to more places, those types of things. It's just, yeah, it's really unfortunate. And um, talk about like community for a little bit. Like, what sort of like ways that, or what sort of ways have you like participated in, like with like, your other like graduates that you've talked to, or some of your friends who maybe go through some of the similar struggles? Like, I don't know, what have those conversations been like? Like, how has it been like talking to other people who have gone through this? Has it been a lot of the same, or do they have other issues that they're kind of calling out?
yeah. So I mean, you probably remember Captain Lavelle, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, I still talk to him on the daily, and he's been in the same boat I've been in. He's been I honestly think he's been throwing more applications than I have, to be honest. I think he's a lot less picky with what he's trying to get.
Wow.
But at the same time, he's not getting results. So, I mean, thankfully for him, a recruiter reached out to him, and he currently got a job, not for something he wants to do full time, but just something to make money again.
Right.
But it seems like a lot of these people that are in the same position that I am right now, they're just trying to find a job to get by until they can find that perfect fit in the field that they graduated with. And it's hard for a lot of people to really just, I'm trying to think of the right way to word it. It's just like a lot of people, they look at my gosh, I'm trying to figure out where I was going to go with this. um no, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of people being in the same boat.
Same boat.
They don't know what to do. And
Well, and it's like too, like I think, maybe talk about your like experience like during school. Like, for example, when I was a freshman at MSU, um, I used a system called Joy Run, which is kind of like DoorDash, essentially DoorDash. It was delivered food, and we made some money. Actually, a couple of my friends and I did it together, and like that was good. It was very flexible. Down the road, I got to the point where it's like I'm wasting so much time because you probably know it, but you're sitting in. At least back then, now they have a lot of, maybe it's quicker to pick up food. Like we had to go through the drive-through, and because they couldn't order it via the app or something, so we have to go through the drive-through, sit there, wait for the food, go deliver it. It takes a while. Like it's not a lot of money, and then you're wearing down your car, at the same time. And so the way I've kind of like interpreted it is like, sure, you're making like short-term cash, which is great, because you need money to literally live. But in the interim, what you're doing is what I said for myself is like, I'm wasting my time because I'm not making more connections. I'm not like finding out like what types of experiences do I need to be participating in, what types of companies would I want to work for. And but also to credit to us, it's like there's not a lot of those opportunities that you can just like plug in super quickly and like try out a business or like go meet people in a business or go make some quick cash in a business that's actually like career building. Um, so yeah, did you do a lot of that stuff like in college, or do you DoorDash as well? Because I sold my plasma. That was what I did for a while, and that sucked. So hopefully you never had to sell your plasma.
Thankfully, no. I don't think they wouldn't even let me because I'm diabetic. So,
Okay, good. Yeah.
but
No selling.
yeah, no selling. But yeah, no. I mean, this kind of. I'm going to take you back a little bit. You probably remember what happened with my dad back in like 2018. That
Yes.
whole thing that went on. So going into college, I did not have any financial support. My mom, like, she relied on my dad. So my mom was busy trying to get her bills all taken care of.
Sure.
Dad obviously wasn't there to help. So going through college, I had to work. I mean, I would, on top of classes, I'd work 5 days a week bartending. So during that whole time, it was just a constant, I have to make money for rent. I have to make money for rent. I have to pay these bills. I have to do this, do that.
Right.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to have an internship with PwC back when I was an accounting major, going into my sophomore year of college. But I mean, outside of that, like, I didn't really have time for those internships because I was too busy worrying about money to try to.
Yeah, gotta live.
Yeah, you got to find some way to survive, you know? So, I mean, looking back, that's one thing I wish I did was maybe put a little more time in an internship. I mean, the problem is that I would be driving an hour and a half to Detroit for an internship. There's
Sure.
not too much around Lansing. Even when I did look, there's nothing. So, um, I mean, yeah, I mean, I tried to stay involved as much as I could outside of just working. I mean, I started a pickleball club up there.
Nice.
That, yeah. So started that actually my freshman year, and I passed it off my junior year and to someone else, and God bless him, he made that thing fly. I mean, it's one of the biggest clubs on campus now.
Well, you kind of
So,
beat the you were doing that then before it was cool, because pickleball really just started picking up, last couple of years or so. So you were on the forefront of the pickleball culture at MSU. That's sweet.
yeah. So I mean, no, we started with maybe 10, 15 people playing in the racquetball courts. That's how we had to play.
That's so
Um, yeah, but no, I mean, he's grown with it so much, and I'm very thankful for that because I didn't want that club just to go to waste.
no, absolutely. So you're participating. You're active. You had the internship, but then again, like at the same time, you're literally just needing to make money, and it's hard to like get more experiences because you're right. Like what I found, which is really interesting, and it kind of contradicts what you just said about like not things not being available in Lansing. I have found with Stunio, and as we've kind of did more partnerships with new businesses, there are so many businesses that you just would not even know of, like in your backyard, like in Lansing and in other places. Like the greater Lansing region is actually so saturated with like really, really good businesses, thousands and thousands of businesses. They could be, medium to small to large, some are large. But a lot of times, as you kind of maybe you can attest, like the ones that you actually find on Handshake and LinkedIn and Indeed, those are big companies. Those are like the bigger ones, like, right?
Absolutely.
Grand Rapids, you got to go to Chicago, New York, whatever it may be. And it's like, if I didn't find something there, I'm shot because there's nothing, there's nowhere else. And I think unfortunately those systems give a false sense of reality of what actually is available to students, because it doesn't show smaller opportunities, smaller companies, medium, small type of places that if you were to participate within the company or to just even know about them, you'd probably like them. It was really cool. There's a company in Grand Rapids that we work with called Hex Armor. And during COVID, this gave us a really cool idea for the company. They had an assembly line of Grand Valley State students who came and helped with um, putting together like PPE, like shields, like face shields during COVID. They had a line of Grand Valley students doing part of the work, and then they had other temp service agencies doing the other work. And what they found was the college students were much more efficient. They performed at a higher rate. They showed up on time, all the sorts of things that you'd want out of your workforce, which is great. But the cooler thing is then, I think it was 8, I forgot the exact number, but I believe it was 8 of those students that worked on the assembly line now have jobs full-time for the company in some other role, like, in an actual like HR role or accounting or finance or operations or whatever it may be. And so it was the opportunity for them to participate in the business just a little bit, just as an entry level, I'm just going to put a label on a box, or I'm going to put a shield on a frame, to learn about, hey, this company exists, one, this culture's cool, two, maybe I met somebody, three, this could be somewhere I work full time. And that's, that's what a lot of like Handshake and Indeed and those types of systems don't promote. Because again, it's just like for those big companies, and you may not know that like there's 1,000 businesses right in the backyard of, of Lansing.
No, I mean, I agree. And I think that you nailed that point. That's exactly what I was going to say. There's a lot of these small market companies that they just get no recognition or anything just because they're overshadowed by all these big companies that are promoting their jobs on all these job boards that it's just, you can't even find them at all.
Or two, like a lot of these companies maybe don't have the resources or people to, want to put it out there, on all these job boards, because maybe they see it too. Like, maybe the job boards work for the bigger companies who can afford to spend, I need to boost every post, and we're going to get 10,000 applicants, and we're going to throw it in our ATS system and sort them by filters and all these things. Maybe they can afford to like have such a low success rate, like 1 out of 1,000 to find is for hiring. Whereas a lot of these other companies, like, they don't have time to do that. They got to run their business. They're, even some of the medium-sized businesses, like, they just don't have time to show up at a career fair and, post on Handshake or those sort of things. So that's really interesting. That's part of what we've been trying to do with our company. But yeah, any other like thoughts as far as like, the grind, what kind of keeps you going like during this period? I think maybe one of the things you talked about in your LinkedIn post is that, you're not the only one out there. You want to make people proud. That there's a ton of other people out there who are struggling, much like you. But yeah, what keeps you going from you're drained, you're exhausted, all those sorts of things? Like, where do you go from here to like keep going today?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the big thing is, yes, making my family proud. Part of it is just I'm tired of everyone getting on me about not having a job, and that's kind of goes back to the whole mental thing. And I just want to be able to make them happy and make them know that I'm being successful in life. I mean, I'm very grateful for my sisters. I always rant to them about all my issues with this kind of stuff, and they've had my back. So those two, they completely understand. I mean, outside, another thing of that, we talked before the podcast. I mean, I have a girlfriend now with 3 kids. So we're talking about moving in once we're both financially in a stable spot.
Sure.
So making sure I'm in a good spot, making sure I have a good job that I enjoy and will be a good fit in. That way I can provide to those kids and her. So, I mean, those two are my big factors. And I mean, granted, I'm sick of the door dashing. It's too much wear and tear on the car. I would love to.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I would love to be in an office setting, or even just being out in the field, just anything that's not going out, driving, wearing down your car. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So,
and for all the experience you've had, and for the person I know you are, just feeling like you're getting value out of the work you're doing, like you can provide so much value to people as opposed to just delivering them food. So but again, that's a lot of what people are stuck with doing nowadays, because a lot of the systems aren't helping.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one thing where I know my value, I know my worth, and it's just something where I wish a company would just give me a chance.
Yeah,
just see that even though I might not check all the boxes on your application, I'm willing to put in that work to make sure I'm a good fit for said company.
Sure.
And, coming from a recruiter perspective, I do totally understand that can't always be the case. But at the same time, if you give someone an opportunity to interview, that's really that's your time to shine. And not to toot my own horn, but I like to think that I can perform well in interviews.
Yep.
I know how I can tailor interviews to fit what they're looking for and what they value, because a lot of the companies I look at, I make sure I have those same values that they're looking for in a person and what they believe in a company.
Right.
So just kind of stuff like that. It's hard to just even get through to the interview process.
No, it makes a lot of sense, and it's just, yeah, I think like you talked about, it's just the mental side is, what you're having to push through so much nowadays, and I can only sort of try to grieve with the hundreds of thousands or millions of students across the country who go through a lot of this too, and who every year are adding to that number of people who are totally unemployed, or kind of working, just kind of side hustles to make it by. I think the jobs they're out there, absolutely, but like you said, it's getting in front of the right people, having the experience to show them that, I am a good fit, like I can be a good fit, kind of beyond the resume, behind my LinkedIn, beyond the LinkedIn profile, those types of things. I really appreciate you, Justin, talking today about this too. I know it's tough because, like you said, it's a mental drain. But I had a couple last questions. These are going to be rapid fire, so just give me your first thing that comes to mind here. But this is our post-grad gut check, with kind of like some questions about different systems, and different different advices you've got and those types of things. So, all right, number one, this is kind of ironic because you'd probably say neither, but job board of choice, LinkedIn or Indeed? And I guess we'll throw Handshake in there as well.
Indeed.
Okay, I like the name, Indeed. More soul crushing, the entry-level job, 3 years required of experience, or we went with another candidate?
Entry level, 3 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so many jobs like that. It's like, how is it entry level? It's such a contradiction.
Exactly.
Worst advice you've gotten so far in the job hunt?
Oh, I gotta think about that one.
And maybe it's too, like maybe advice or comment, and maybe I'll put words in your mouth here, but maybe it's what you talked about with your parents, like the expectation that there's jobs out there. What are you doing? Just go find a job. Like, it's not that simple. Maybe that's a comment that you've gotten so far.
Yeah, I would say that, or I wouldn't say this is a stupid one, but it just kind of contradicts your mentality. Don't listen to them. It's I kind of want to explain that one, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I hear people that say, well, don't listen to your parents. Don't listen to them. It's hard when they're in the same room telling you that stuff. You can't really, it's hard not to listen to them. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call that stupid, but it doesn't necessarily help the situation, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, no, most definitely. I don't blame you there. It's kind of like necessary evil. It's like you got to just say, yes, I'm trying, but it's a lot of people just don't understand how hard it actually is, and because everybody sees like, oh, Indeed, there's a commercial. Yeah, it's great, it's on TV, but that doesn't mean it's going to help you get a better job. So yeah, that's really unfortunate. What's keeping you going more? It's kind of a funny one. Hope or caffeine?
Oh, caffeine. Easy.
Yeah, especially with the long hours.
Yeah, I'm so bad. I'll drink 2 or 3 ghosts a day. I got to cut it down, but
yeah,
maybe that'll change when I actually get my stuff together.
There you go. It's tough. I mean, like you said though, it's what keeps you going. You got to do it because you just got to you got to live. Like it's like that necessary evil. So I don't blame you there. Interview outfit. this depends on maybe it by industry, but a button up or a clean hoodie?
Oh, button up.
Absolutely. I'd say so too. I like, in the tech space now, I'm like, I wear my hoodies and stuff, but yeah, button up, can't go wrong.
Easy. Button up.
Um, yeah. What stings worse, a rejection email or ghosting?
Ghosting.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, especially with we're talking about with a lot of the fake job listings and stuff, or you're already in the process with somebody and then they just don't respond. It's like, how does that help with the job market either? Like you're just
Right.
making people even more upset. Terrible. What would you give up for a callback? Social media or the DoorDash app?
You know what? I'm gonna say the DoorDash app because I don't DoorDash anymore now that I actually DoorDash. So let's say
Right, there you
DoorDash
go.
app.
Perfect. I like that. Um, and then if you could just say one thing to every hiring manager out there, unfiltered, what would it be from your perspective?
um, give me an effing chance.
Yeah. Yep. I think that we can just print that off. Just you know, put that
Yes.
right on a poster.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
maybe it's like this too. It's like give me an effing chance to show that, hey, I'm Justin. This is what I'm all about. Yeah, I don't have all the years of experience that you may require for some of these positions, but let me work. Like, let me show you the power work that I can do. Um, as opposed to just, uh, not giving you a shot because you don't have experience that they're requiring, but really shouldn't. So if that kind of encapsulates what you're thinking with saying, give me an
Yes.
effing chance. Let me show you who Justin is.
That's right.
So yeah, no, I appreciate it, Justin. This sort of we'll probably wrap it up here. We've been talking for a good amount of time. We talked about a lot of different things. But yeah, for all our viewers listening, like there's so many stories like Justin's, and a lot of what we're going to be showing on this channel is just the power in these stories and sort of the validity in these experiences. Because like Justin said, I think a lot of times people just interpret you not getting a job as it's just your fault. It's all about you. You must have did something wrong. Whereas I think a lot of times, as we found within the stats, within experiences from Justin and from businesses too, that the systems today that are available are just not helping to solve that problem. And in many ways, it's exacerbating the problems that have already existed with hiring. AI is not adding to anybody's. It's giving more work for businesses. Actually, it's giving more work for people like Justin because you're having to sift through too many other irrelevant things. It's not living up to the promise that a lot of these platforms are promising students like Justin to say, we're going to get you a job. We're going to, you're going to go your 4 years at university, you're going to get a degree, and you're going to get a job. Somebody failed. Like something has failed. Like the career services office, the handshake, Indeed, some system and some people within that whole, cycle has failed. Justin and Phil, who are in the same boat. Justin, you're not alone. And if you believe there has to be a better way, let me just tell you, we're building it, and hopeful that we'll have some more conversations like this with you, Justin, to kind of recap maybe even what we're building at Studio, and you can kind of give us some feedback if that's what you're hoping for and something that's different than a current system that's out there today. But thanks for joining, Justin, and for giving all, and hopefully it was therapeutic talking about it a little bit more.
Yeah, Adam. I mean, you were my therapist today, so.
and you don't, and I won't charge you, so no problem there.
Oh, perfect. But no, I mean, Adam, seriously, I love what you're doing with Studio. It's given so many students a chance, and I can't be grateful enough that this is something you're working on for other people that are in college right now. It's something that I would highly recommend to anyone to be able to get their foot in the door and hopefully get a little better leverage for this horrible job market right now. So,
Yep.
I mean, you're killing it. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, man. No, I really appreciate it. You are too. As much as you don't think about what you're doing currently is killing it, you are, because you're still providing, you're still building, you're still making money, and you're not giving up. Like you said, you're going to continue to grind. You're going to drink those ghosts until you have to, and you're going to make it happen. So Justin, that's part of the attitude of a successful person too, is that you're just not giving up. You got all the tools, and it's just, I wish the systems and the people would kind of meet students where they need to be to get them better jobs. So yeah, thanks, Justin. Really appreciate it. Thanks for
Of
coming on
course.
today.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You got it.